Coming up on Retiring Today, we're traveling through the decades.
Planning for your retirement in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. What you need to know.
The steps you can take on your travels to make your retirement best.
Join us for Retiring Today. Welcome to Retiring Today. In today's episode, we're talking about retiring throughout the decades and how you can plan to get to and through retirement. I'm here with Abby Huntrods and Loren Merkle. Loren is a certified financial planner and Abby is an investment advisor, and they talk to people every day about retiring. So we're going to go through the decades, Loren, and it's important to kind of break it down in the 50s, 60s, and 70s because retiring is complex.
Well, it's complex, and you can't be 65 years old and just start thinking about retirement, right? We need to build assets. It takes a long time to contribute to accounts to allow them to build up to a place where you can comfortably, with confidence, say, you know what, boss? I'm not coming back Monday.
See ya.
See ya. And now you're on a permanent vacation for the next 20 to 30 years. You have to be able to live. You've developed a lifestyle. You want to continue to feel comfortable in that lifestyle. And in order to do that, you have to have a plan in place to be able to deliver the income and manage all of the resources in a way that gives you that retirement that you want.
Okay, so timing is everything when it comes to that plan. Abby, I'm going to have you first talk about the 50s. What should people be thinking about when they're in their 50s and it comes to retirement?
Yeah, well, like Loren kind of touched on, the first thing is, what does retirement look like for you? What are your goals and your dreams? Not only will that help motivate you to save appropriately, but also gives you a good idea of what kind of planning you need to have implemented in order to accomplish those goals and that lifestyle that you're trying to achieve. So I'd say that's one big thing, first and foremost.
That's the fun part, right?
Envision
so
it.
Here I've got my travel list set up. We're going to go here and there and the other and everywhere else. But really, you talk about that savings. Let's break those down a little bit more and talk about what kind of savings plans people should be thinking about.
One of the most powerful savings plans, especially the more time you have before you're going to retire, one of the most powerful ones you can use is that Roth IRA or the Roth 401k plan, either one. Either way, any contribution that you put into the Roth device will grow tax-free forever. We always talk about these permanent business partners that we have in the pre-tax type monies. With these Roth accounts, every dollar you put in will grow tax-free. You never have to pay Uncle Sam. You never have to pay the state of Iowa. And if you pass away and any money's left in there, it can go on to your kids, grandkids, and they will never have to pay tax on it either. One of the most powerful vehicles you can incorporate. You get compounding interest with tax-free growth.
And I also think, Abby, about being in your 50s and depending on like when you had children and if you're married or not, you may just be getting rid of the kids and they might just be going out. So you might be in your 50s watching right now and going, I haven't done a whole lot for retirement. It's not too late, right?
No, it's never too late. So we talked to a lot of people that wish they would have started earlier. I mean, that's pretty common. But if you do feel like you're behind the 8 ball, the 50s is a great time to get serious about your retirement planning because now you have catch-up contributions where you can contribute more to your 401k or your IRA than you could prior to your 50s. So in 2019, they increased those contribution limits within the 401k plan. It's up from $24,000 to $25,000 total if you're above the age of 50. And then within the IRAs, now you can do $7,000 instead of $6,000. If you're over the age of 50.
So those are all good things for people that are in their 50s that are watching.
Yeah, and if you're probably in some of your highest wage earning years in your 50s too. You're a little bit, further down your career path. So you have maybe a little bit more spendable income to save for retirement because maybe you're an empty nester now, or you've paid off a good amount of debt and now you have more disposable income to put towards your retirement savings.
Okay, and at 59 and a half, Loren, something magical happens.
There's not too many half birthdays we celebrate, perhaps like maybe after 7 and a half.
Right.
Until we get to 59 and a half. And then 59 and a half is where that magic comes in, where most of your retirement, most of your 401k plan, so most of you who have a 401k plan have 59 and a half. Even though you're still working for that employer, you can sweep that money from the employer plan, put it underneath your name, your control. You don't have to pay taxes when you sweep that money out. It can continue to grow tax deferred. You can still contribute to the 401k plan just like you always have been to take advantage of the benefits of that plan, mainly the free money. if your employer does match. So you still want to contribute to it. However, when you have the opportunity to take control of your retirement wealth, oftentimes that bodes you well. Take control over it. You can decrease the fees, control the diversification, gives you better prospects going forward.
Okay, so Abby, if I'm in my 50s, do I have to know what that retirement date is yet?
Not necessarily. It's good to have a target goal, but kind of know what you're thinking so that you can know how much risk you should be taking within your investments. Because right now, with where we're at in the market cycle, it's been a really good run from 08, 09. And you want to know when this next recession hits, what are you potentially exposed to losing, because that could derail or set back that target retirement date. So that's another advantage of taking control of your 401k at 59 and a half, is now you have a lot more investment options available to you, so that if you want to choose more conservative investments, you're pretty limited within the 401k plan, but if you do that within an IRA, now you have a lot more conservative options available.
Okay, so we're talking about retiring through the decades. Did we get what we needed to in the 50s?
Yeah, we sure did.
Okay, let's move on to the 60s and 70s when retiring today continues.
You have worked for a long time. There are so many decisions to make about your retirement. How much income do you need? How not to run out of money? Now is your chance, and you get one shot to get it right. Attend Merkle Retirement Planning's Passport to Retirement. We will discuss how to create tax-free income, how to avoid the next market meltdown, and how to wring every dime out of Social Security. Your time is now. Classes fill quickly. Call or text today. Zero cost to attend.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you are here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it, and leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are Merkle Retirement Planning, your personal retirement planners. From investments to tax reduction strategies and creating your blueprint to retirement guide. Have the confidence to retire today. You worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary visit, contact us today. Merkle Retirement Planning.
Welcome back to Retiring Today. We're talking about retiring throughout the decades and what that looks like. We covered the 50s in the first segment, and now it's time to talk about retiring in your 60s. I'm here with Abby Huntrods and Loren Merkle. Loren is a certified financial planner, and Abby is an investment advisor. And Abby and Loren, the 60s, that's the fun spot. For most people, they retire in their 60s, Loren.
Yeah, most people are going to retire somewhere between 60 and 70. At least that's what we see. And we're oftentimes talking about in retirement, when it comes to taking income, it can be easier to deliver tax-favored income than when you are working, because when you're working, it's just W-2 wages. However, we have to incorporate the planning in order to maximize that type of tax-favored income. So instead of just talking about it, what we did is we brought our buckets, and oftentimes we talk about different tax buckets, how different buckets are taxed differently. And so instead of just talking about it, we're going to show you.
So we've been working towards saving all these years, and now we're getting to spend, and you need to spend from different buckets. That's what you're going to show us?
Well, it's the fun part. You've been saving this entire time, and now you don't have to go to work anymore, but you still need money. And now you're going to take money from these investments that you've been saving. Each one of these buckets represents a different type of investment that you have within your portfolio. And lucky you, Molly, you are retired now.
All right, sounds good. I'm ready.
You're the retiree, and you need $100,000 of income.
That'll work.
And we're just gonna make this easy. You just need $100,000.
The kids are gone, right? It's just me on $100,000. All right, I can make that work.
That's right. You just need $100,000, and we're gonna make this easy. We're not talking about Social Security income. You need $100,000 just from the investments. Okay. We're trying to demonstrate a concept of how this planning can really work in your favor post-retirement to deliver tax-favored income. Okay. So we've done a little bit of planning. We have the most common type of tax bucket, that is the pre-tax money. Pre-tax 401k plan, pre-tax IRA, doesn't matter. You need $100,000. We're going to reach in here. There's your $100,000.
Can I take Abby like on a trip or something with me?
You sure
Yep.
can.
Okay, good. All
Sounds
right.
good.
But this is what you make. That's not what you get to keep. Because all of this is pre-tax.
I get taxed on this amount.
You get taxed on it. You
Okay.
still have to buy out Uncle Sam, and you still have to buy out the state of Iowa. So your spendable income of the $100,000, let's just say it's about $75,000. You bought out Uncle Sam in the state, you could spend $75,000. Where are you, Nabby, going to go?
Oh, where do you want to go?
Hawaii.
No, great. We're there.
All right, so $75,000, do whatever you want within the year. Example 1. Example 2, now you've done a little bit more planning, and instead of just the one bucket, now you have the 2 tax buckets. You have the pre-tax money, and you also have the Roth. When any distributions we take out of the Roth, how much are we taxed on?
Nothing. Because you
Nothing.
paid taxes on the way in.
You betcha. And all this,
Learning.
you got it. And all the money that you've had in here all these years has grown tax-free. So you still need $100,000. We're still going to take money out of the pre-tax. We're going to take $50,000 from the pre-tax.
Okay.
You're going to take
All right.
$50,000 from the Roth. Remember, we were taxed absolutely nothing on taking this distribution from the Roth.
I keep this then.
You-
One of
Yep.
these is all
That's all yours in your pocket.
Yeah, got it.
The $50,000 we took from the pre-tax, we're still taxed on.
Mm-hmm.
We still have to buy out our business partners, Uncle Sam, state of Iowa, except for instead of having a taxable income of $100,000, we only have a taxable income of $50,000, which decreases our overall tax bill. So now our spendable income has increased from $75,000 to roughly about $92,000.
Better.
Yeah, we can go a couple places.
We're flying first class now.
In this example, we still bought out our business partners, right? So they're square. We have our money, and we have a lot more that we can spend on. So in Hawaii, you guys can have a much better time.
Yeah, we can.
And you can even afford to get back now. The third example. In this example, now you have 3 different tax buckets. Still have the pre-tax, still have the Roth. Over here, this is called our non-qualified bucket. And in 2008, there was a tax law change. Many people are still not familiar with this tax law change, even though it was 11 years ago. That tax law change means any qualified dividends, long-term capital gains that you realize if you're in the 12% federal tax bracket or less, you will be taxed at the 0% rate. I see a blank
That
stare.
sounds good.
What the- what
I don't
the-
pay any taxes on it, right?
Yeah.
if you're in the 12% bracket or less. So now the question is how do we still deliver the $100,000 of income and still stay within that bracket?
Yeah, I
where you
heard
can
that
pay
bracket. I was
zero
like, well,
tax?
wait, that means you don't make $100,000 if you're in the 12% tax bracket.
Yeah, now the level of income is going to depend whether you file married or file single. Okay, but we're gonna go with the file married in this example. We still need $100,000 of income.
Okay.
We're still taking income from the pre-tax. We're going to take $40,000 from the
Okay.
pre-tax.
All right, I'm with ya.
We're taxed on that, so don't put that in your pocket yet.
Okay.
This is from the Roth.
Yep. So I keep this. This is all me.
100%
no taxes.
yours,
No
no
taxes.
taxes.
Great.
And what are we taking out of here?
What do we got, Abby?
Oh, another 30.
Okay. And I don't pay any taxes on this either.
We're going to find out.
Oh.
That's the question mark.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the 12% tax bracket or less, we know based on the 2008 tax law change, we're not going to pay any tax on it. Federal. We'll pay state tax, but federal.
Okay.
Okay. So we have $100,000 of income. We know on the 30 from the Roth, we're not paying anything on.
Okay. That's in my pocket.
We know we're paying tax here, and we might pay tax there. What we have to do is add up how much we took from this bucket, the 30,
Okay.
plus what we're going to be taxed on over here, the 40. That's $70,000. And as long as you're married, filing jointly, make under 78, now you're
Oh.
paying 0% tax over here.
Interesting.
So what you just did is you took $100,000 of income, paid 0 tax on this 30, paid 0 tax on that 30, and that was 100% long-term capital gain. So you realized $30,000 of gain, didn't have to pay any tax on it, and we paid minimal amount of tax over here because now our tax brackets are much lower. So if we look at all of that, our spendable income in this third scenario was $95,000 plus.
And in the first scenario, what was it again?
$75,000.
Yeah, that's a significant difference.
So by doing a little bit more planning and thinking ahead of when we're going to be in retirement, we're going to need income, what's some of the different strategies that we can develop that income using the tax law in your favor. See, the tax law is law, nobody likes it, but you can actually use it to your benefit
Sure.
if you understand it and you incorporate the planning to take advantage of it. even in retirement.
So Abby, this is a little complex. I don't think this is something I could do myself.
Yeah, and it is complex. These are definitely complex planning strategies. But if you have the help of a professional on your team to help you evaluate where you're at with your current tax situation, because it doesn't always make sense to, put $100,000, convert $100,000 to a Roth IRA. That's going to throw you into a pretty sticky tax situation in the year that you do that. So it has to be, this kind of planning has to be incorporated over time with the help of a professional to make sure you're doing it in the most advantageous way to you.
Okay. And that's the thing, is that this distribution strategy that we just conveyed, actually taking the money out of this in that way is the easiest part about the whole thing. The hardest part about this is getting the different tax buckets, right? Having the money move from the pre-tax to the Roth, or building up enough money underneath the Roth, or even incorporating this bucket over here, because this bucket, the non-qualified, has always been that taboo bucket. Because most people, historically anyway, prior to 2008, would always pay taxes on capital gains and dividends every single year. So it's not compounding as quickly when you have to take a sliver off of the gain to pay the tax, which is different than this and this. So this bucket is a hard bucket for people to accumulate just because it's been taboo for so long. So the hard work goes into setting these different buckets to position yourself to take advantage of this type of strategy.
Now, is this something you guys talk about in your Passport to Retirement classes?
Absolutely, it is. It's one of the 5 components. So the tax planning piece is a huge component of the retirement blueprint, a huge component of the Passport to Retirement class, but there's also a handful of other components that we talk about too.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the Passport to Retirement class coming up in our next segment. We'll also touch on healthcare. That's a big part of retiring, and Social Security, and we'll move on to the next decade, the 70s. But first, we got a question from Bill in Ankeny. He asks, if I'm over 70 and a half, can I still contribute to an IRA or a Roth IRA? We'll answer that and much more when Retiring Today continues.
You have worked for a long time. There are so many decisions to make about your retirement. How much income do you need? How not to run out of money? Now is your chance, and you get one shot to get it right. Attend Merkle Retirement Planning's Passport to Retirement. We will discuss how to create tax-free income, how to avoid the next market meltdown, and how to wring every dime out of Social Security. Your time is now. Classes fill quickly. Call or text today. Zero cost to attend.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation? Will you be there for my ball games? Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me? Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Contact us today.
Welcome back to Retiring Today. We're answering Bill in Ankeny's question. He asks, if I'm over 70 and a half, can I still contribute to an IRA or a Roth IRA? Abby Huntrods and Loren Merkle. Loren's a certified financial planner and Abby is an investment advisor. They know the answer to that question. Loren, why don't you tell Bill, what does he need to know?
Once you're 70 and a half, as long as you still have earned income, Bill, you can continue to contribute to your Roth IRA. So you can be 90 and a half, it doesn't matter. You're still making money, you can still make contributions to your Roth. Where it gets tricky is with your traditional IRA or your regular IRA. Once you're 70 and a half, the government mandates you to start taking distributions from it. Therefore, they also do not allow you to make contributions to it, even if you're still making money.
If you have a question that you'd like Loren, Abby, or anyone from the team to answer right here on the show, there's a number on your screen right now. Text your question and we'll try to answer it right here on the show. We answer a lot of questions about retiring on this show. So we talked about retiring in your 50s. We want to get back to the 60s a little bit because, Abby, we can't talk about retiring in the 60s without talking about medical costs and Medicare and how that piece fits into the puzzle.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest concerns of people that I talk to every day in our office because it's such a substantial expense. Fidelity does a study each year that estimates how much a married couple will spend on health care in retirement, and the most recent number they came out with was $280,000. So this is a huge piece and a huge risk in retirement that you want to make sure you're making the right decisions for you and your situation. With Medicare, there's a lot of timing rules around when you start taking those benefits. So you want to make sure that you're getting those enrollment windows right, and you're not signing yourself up for penalties for the rest of your life, because those are permanent penalties if you miss those deadlines.
Yeah, I think, Lauren, when people hear a number like 280,000, one of the big worries they have is running out of money in retirement when they hear something like that.
Yeah, the healthcare environment is a mess right now, and it's actually keeping a lot of people from retiring prior to the age of 65 when they're eligible for Medicare. So the healthcare piece, the Medicare piece needs to be an integral part of your plan. So if you want to retire before 65, how do we do it? If you want to retire 65 or after, then how does Medicare fit into your plan? If you're still working at 66, do you need to file for A? Do you need to file for Part B? Do you need a supplemental plan? If you retire at 65, how do you file for A and B, and how do the HSAs work all into it? These are all the complexities that come with filing for Medicare and incorporating healthcare planning into your overall plan, and it needs to be a big part of the retirement plan.
And Abby, the plan is different for everyone. You can't say, yes, everyone at 65 should file for Part A. I mean, it's customizable.
Yes, absolutely. So there are a lot of moving parts and a lot of intricate rules. You want to make sure that you're meeting with someone who specializes in those types of healthcare decisions and topics, because there's so many moving parts. So we have a dedicated specialist on our team that helps our families make all of those kinds of decisions to make sure that they're, getting the best coverage for them, because essentially you're choosing your health insurance for the next 20 years. Because it's so hard to change plans after the age of 65, once you're set up on a certain coverage option, it's pretty hard to change out of that after the fact. So you want to make sure that the decisions you're making up front are absolutely the right decision for you. So definitely needs to be incorporated into that comprehensive plan.
You made an important point with saying that we have a healthcare specialist on our team. That's all she does, healthcare, Medicare, and I think that's important, because when you're working with all the complex natures of your retirement plan, nobody knows it all. Nobody can know it all. We don't pretend to. So we've assembled a team of experts, healthcare, Medicare specialists, the income specialists, the tax specialists, the estate planning specialists, to make sure that the families have all of it represented in a detailed, customized way, and we can minimize mistakes that way.
And you talk about all the rules, the regulations, the different parts. In the Passport to Retirement class, people get a workbook that really goes through all those different parts, Lauren.
Yeah, we do. So we have the workbook that's included with that class, but I think even more importantly, it's all the content that you get in the class, and all the while we're having fun too, right? We have some snacks, we have some water, and we talk about the 5 components of the retirement plan, because we talked about income today. That's a big one. That's a big concern. Your W-2s go away. How are you going to live? You still need an income plan. When you take income, you're going to pay taxes. It's not what you make, it's what you keep, it's what you spend. So decreasing the taxes that you pay is important. And then the healthcare and the long-term care. There's so many pieces that need to be considered. And here's a big point. When we talk about you accomplishing your goals, you have goals, you have retirement goals, you have a whole bunch of goals. It has been proven that when you write down your goals, you have a much higher probability of achieving those goals. And that's why we are so adamant about having a written, comprehensive plan. There was a study that was conducted of groups of participants. One group, they didn't write down their goals. They just thought about what their goals were. Only about 35% of them accomplished their goals. The other group, who actually wrote those goals down, about 70% of them accomplished their goals. When we're talking about the magnitude of the rest of your life, retirement, the rest of your life, it needs to be written. That's one way we can keep score, you can keep score. How far are you along your route to accomplishing your goals? What changes do you need to make? And then at the end of the day, you can relax, the anxiety's washed away, and you can just enjoy the things that are important to you in your life, the grandkids, the travel, the fun, all the stuff that maybe when you were working, you were too busy to do.
And Lauren mentioned the Passport to Retirement class. So that's a class that Lauren and Abby and the team hold in several locations around the state, and it's free. So you go, you get a workbook, you get to ask questions, you listen to some good information. And here is some information for those of you who might be interested in the Passport to Retirement class. On your screen right now is a number that you can text, and then someone from the team will reach out to you and get you set up with a Passport to Retirement class. Or there's a website on the screen as well. Go to that website and there'll be lots of details there on the Passport to Retirement class. So we've got 2 more minutes to give people some details about retiring in their 70s. And what are a few of the key things, Abby, they need to know?
Well, 70 comes with Uncle Sam's magical number, 70 and a half. So
it's the other half birthday.
Yeah.
The not so fun one, yeah.
So at 70 and a half, you're mandated to start taking out distributions from all of your pre-tax investments. That's an important age to know. One, so that you're not missing those mandatory distributions because there's hefty penalties if you do miss them, but also so that you can do some tax planning in advance before you get to 70 and a half so that you're making the most of what it is that you've saved. The other important thing in your 70s is estate planning. So you want to make sure that you're implementing what your different legacy goals are within your plan so that when you do have your last day, your assets are passed to your beneficiaries in the most efficient way possible.
Okay, Loren's going to wrap up today's show. He always gives us a list of his takeaways. So what do I need to know, or what do we need to know, Loren, about retiring throughout the decades?
Take advantage of the eighth wonder of the world, which is compounding interest.
That's not what I was looking for. Sounds like some great place to travel to or something, Loren. Okay, go ahead.
No, compounding interest is what gets you the
can
ability.
travel.
It gives you the ability to travel wherever you want to, Hawaii or whatever. So if you can start in your 40s, 50s, 20s, whatever it is, start and let that compounding interest really work for you. Take advantage of the free money. If you have an employer plan and they're offering you that free money, at least contribute up to that matchable amount to get that free money. At 59 and a half, this is a big oversight by many, many people because they don't know that once you're 59 and a half, most of the time with your employer plan, you can take control of your money, put it underneath your name, your account. You can still contribute to the account, but you just want to have control over your money.
Okay, Loren, Abby, great information about retiring through the decades. We'll cover all kinds of retirement topics on this show. We want to thank you for watching Retiring Today.
You have worked for a long time. There are so many decisions to make about your retirement. How much income do you need? How not to run out of money? Now is your chance, and you get one shot to get it right. Attend Merkle Retirement Planning's Passport to Retirement. We will discuss how to create tax-free income, how to avoid the next market meltdown, and how to wring every dime out of Social Security. Your time is now. Classes fill quickly. Call or text today. Zero cost to attend.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to send me an invitation? Will you be there for my ball games? Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me? Or help me go to college? How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Contact us today.
From our family to yours, we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
We hope
you enjoy the show. Good night,